Okay, so I'm back. So what I also wanted to talk about, I just remembered. Oh, it's a beautiful time in humanity. I'm gonna say that. It's not the most comfortable, but it can be once we settle in. I was like thinking to myself today, whilst being around my sons, and I was thinking to myself how different it was while I was growing up. And I think to myself, these children nowadays, they have seemingly what some people would consider not gonna say more comfort, because it definitely ain't that. I would say they're surrounded by more money. Pretty much that's what it is. But yet these children, they are like they're miserable. They have no joy or happiness. It's as though children nowadays, they are imprisoned. And the truth is, I don't like housing schemes, and it's a very horrible idea. It's going to become a thing of the past too. Horrible land development, horrible investment, whether this is by the developers or the buyers. Just horrible. And because you have people purchasing small areas of land for large amounts of money, but not just really the amount of money, but just really talking about the land. Because you have people living in these areas, and they're so confined and restricted in their spaces. And a lot of these people, they automatically imprison themselves, because because like they have no other choice. They don't have any space. It's not like if you are in some suburbs or let me say rural areas, not suburbs. Okay? Because some nincompoops, they're gonna consider these areas suburbs in small countries like these. I don't consider these areas suburban, but I'm not gonna really debate that. I'm gonna just stick to rural. Okay? Living in rural areas, you have a lot of freedom. Your children too, to play, run around, play bat and ball, cricket, football, and all of them stuff. Ring games, play with the animals, run around, really explore nature. Also, the children, they also what was that I was about to touch on? You also, as a grown person, you have your freedom. If you live on your own, you live with a partner, you know that you can go outside naked if you feel like, because there isn't a neighbor right next door to you. All is this watching your every move. I always hated that. It doesn't make any sense to live somewhere and you have no privacy, because I like being free, and that means less is more for me. So I like not wearing so much clothes. I'm very skinny, but I tend to absorb much of the climate of the environment. So whether it's hot or cold, I feel them temperatures to the max. And so in a warm climate, tropical climate like Jamaica, and especially when it's a warm day, I tend to really feel hot on them days. Not warm, hot. I want to be able to walk around in my Panda River on the bank. You know, my little tube top. Can't do it about them place, because do that, everybody broke them neck and steer me down. Some people think me I do it for them look at me. Some people think me I do it because me want attention. Poor them, and never see them. I wish I wouldn't even see them, you know. But you feel what I'm trying to say? Especially in a phone of black people. I had to say that, because a lot of you too obsessed with yourselves. You think you're too important sometimes, you black people. And I noticed something about black people, and that's why you are the least progressive race throughout humanity, in humanity, because you tend, it's your frequency still, but when there are certain aspects that are futuristic, like me now, Aquarius trine, I tend to think differently. But a lot of you stuck on the past, and that's that Leo frequency, being stuck on the past. Refusing to accept that slavery done and gone. But the point is, and that every race too was enslaved at some point in history. But not just that, but I started thinking to myself, is that the more people get, is the more them become messed up and selfish, self-centered, greed. It's like the more people get, the more they want. Like literally. And I was like thinking back on the days when, there weren't much things about much, there wasn't much vanity. How much happier people seemed. No, I'm not lying. It's the god darn truth. And if a lot of you honest with yourselves, think back on them days when y'all didn't have these laptops, these iPads, these phones, these big old LCD plasma televisions, these big old wanna claim mansions. Just really think back how more decent y'all you used to act, how more civilized. Now people will kill people for a penny if it will aid them in buying one additional block to build that prison of a mansion, or mansion of a prison, however you want to term that. And it's something I've always been thinking about, but it really hit me today. I remember when I was growing up, though we didn't have much money, I could always teeth out Lasco or teeth out some Milo, and then look at something there and just sit back and laugh and feel good and happy, It wasn't much, but still could I get for teeth out some Milo and some Lasco, and and say, oh, when we get older, I'm gonna buy so much Milo, so much Lasco, and it's gonna be so awesome. And I see these kids nowadays, like even my sons, and they buy the Milo and they claim they're so privileged now. They claim auntie overseas sending money for them, and the father recently lost his job. I briefly spoke on that some time ago, because it's karma for him, and he was in cahoots with a group of people against me, including these said people. I spoke about it many a times, and one by one they're going all fall. Pretty much that's what's happening. And I predicted, if y'all were following me along the way, you would have listened to many predictions in which I gave that he was going to receive serious chastisement for what he did to not just me but our sons. Because you take the boys from a good mother and give to some people who don't even like them. Yes, I use them to try to sabotage your expose, but because you still obsessed with your expose, you join in with them. I'm not going to really get into that, but it's judgment for him. But the point is, at that point in time when they were getting so much support from the father, plus the auntie overseas, the so-called auntie overseas, it's like the boys could never, they never had the privilege where in which they could do what I was privileged to do when I would. I'm not really gonna say privileged, but I was able to do while I was growing up. But it's like now, everybody I watch everything, even though if they have more, more support, financial support. So for some reason, it's like people just get meaner and mean to your star. It's like I don't understand. It's like you should be more generous. You should be generous and more giving, rather than so stingy. But yet, for some reason, it's like the children are imprisoned. They don't have certain privileges, like say, alright, they can go and thief out local Lasco, local Milo. No. It's like everybody always watching them pee pee cluck cluck. They won't even let them outside a lot of the times, because for some reason, like I said, they're trying to put a separation between me and them. Today is just one of them days that they were allowed to come outside. I'm just being honest, because even yesterday, that I'm gonna talk about that in another video. I don't even know how to call them. I don't even know, but the pathetic one who works at the bank, or worked at the bank, if that is the case, she have some serious mental issues. Spirit bring to me. You see, I'm gonna talk about that in another video. For no reason, lock the boys inside, put on even lock on the grill people in a broad daylight, because she don't want them to come outside, to come around me, because they're trying to put a gap between me and my sons. I'm like, that when you allow yourself to be consumed by negative frequencies so much, it eventually causes you to become mentally deranged. I've spoken about that many a times. It's some serious business. But the point is, the children are not happy because they're not free to roam. Many a times, like I said, this evening is just one out of few moments they get to go outside, come outside, and get fresh air. It's as though they're imprisoned, and I'm like, all of that going to come to an end. All of that, where people are worship vanity, where in which them can get up and lock up grill with padlock as them feel like. All of them stuff, they're going to fade away. All them stuff. People become so consumed with greed, where in which they use what they have to try to spite other people and try to spit in other people. All of that is fading away. Don't you all see that's what's happening? I told you all, we're going back to the basics, So all of who did get used to living certain lifestyle, you better get unused to it, because we're returning back to the basics of life. And it's not things. It's not money. It's not a prison. It's not a concrete structure where you call a house, which to me is a prison. It's not a car where I let out how much fumes into the ozone layer, and I deplete the ozone layer, because everybody want to own a car. And we check it, one household have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 car. And it's just really greed, the 7 deadly sins, and it's what's destroying humanity. Yes,